In terms of affordable mid-range Android phones, the Google Pixel 3a was probably one of the best ones I've ever used, and it essentially provided people with access to the Pixel experience for not much money. In today's video, let's take a quick look back at what I think was one of Google's best hardware products ever. Now, if you've been to this channel before, you've probably noticed that we have a number of Pixel 3a videos floating around, and this is because it's a phone that I like to revisit every now and then, because I do think that it was such a great entry point to Google's Pixel hardware, at least in my own experience. Now, if you guys want to check out this phone, I will drop some links below, as well as links to our other Pixel videos here on TeamVRY. With that said, let's get started. Now, the Pixel 3a was Google's first ever attempt at creating an affordable Pixel device, which it previously did with its Nexus line. It's no secret that one of Google's primary goals in marketing the Pixel phones was to promote a more premium smartphone, one that could finally go head-to-head with phones from Samsung and Apple, for example. With that said, things took a turn in 2019 when Google unveiled the Pixel 3a. It came at a pretty lower price compared to the mainline Pixel phones, priced at just around $399. The phone featured a very similar design, although it was entirely made out of plastic, except for the glass display. While this price point was still a bit more expensive compared to other mid-range phones on the market, it did give you access to the best of Google's Android software and services, as well as terrific camera quality, which brings us to our next topic. Now, this wouldn't be a proper Pixel video if we didn't talk about the camera. The Pixel 3a's camera outperformed a lot of other smartphones in its price range. As far as hardware was concerned, the camera had a basic single 12-megapixel lens setup at the back with an 8-megapixel front camera. This mattered very little though because of Google's impressive computational photography, which made use of software to give users great-looking photographs. Still images mostly had great quality, and special photo modes like portrait mode and night sight were really on point. We actually have some older videos here on the channel that showcase the Pixel 3a's camera, and I'll link them in the description below. One weakness on the Pixel 3a's camera though was the video quality. While video stabilization was impressive, details and clarity left a lot to be desired, but I was glad to be able to shoot video without shakiness to it. However, it was still a long way from the video quality that you get on phones from Apple or Samsung, for example. Now moving on, another aspect of the Pixel 3a that I really liked was the software. Google was able to give consumers the Pixel experience on what is essentially cheaper hardware, and despite the rather unimpressive specs like the Snapdragon 670 chipset and 4 gigs of RAM, the Pixel 3a ran smooth thanks to a mostly clean version of Android. Software updates came regularly, and there is no unnecessary bloatware on the device, and compared to budget phones from manufacturers like Xiaomi for example, the Pixel 3a's user interface was very seamless. It was Android as intended by Google without any useless extras to slow it down. The Pixel 3a also got 3 major Android updates. Google launched the device with Android 9 Pie, and it was eventually given updates to Android 10, Android 11, and Android 12. Unfortunately, the phone was no longer supported by the time that we got Android 13, although Google does typically limit major software updates on its phones to 3 versions. Alright, so while the Pixel 3a has unfortunately been discontinued a while back, it has undoubtedly proven to be popular with users who are after a more affordable Pixel smartphone. Since the arrival of the 3a, Google has followed up with several other A-series devices, including the Pixel 4a, 4a 5G, Pixel 5a, and last year's Pixel 6a. With that said, each subsequent Pixel A model came with some much welcome upgrades. For example, the Pixel 4a finally gave us a full screen display, while the Pixel 4a 5G featured dual rear cameras that included an ultra-wide lens. The Pixel 6a on the other hand featured Google's sensor chipset, a nice upgrade from the otherwise low-end Qualcomm SoCs that we had on the earlier models. I think it's pretty much safe to say that Google's little project with the 3a took off nicely. It's certainly a nice way to get users acquainted with the Pixel ecosystem in case they want to test the waters and see if Google's hardware can meet their needs and expectations. With the Pixel 7a on the horizon, it's pretty exciting to think about what new features Google can pack with their next budget-friendly smartphone, and I'm certainly hoping it's worth the wait. Alright, so we've pretty much reached the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think about the Pixel 3a. Have you ever owned one, or are you still using yours today? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other videos here on TeamVRY. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.